Welcome to Studio 58A Live here at the Jamaica Information Service, our discussion program coming to you live on Facebook. I am your host, Vaughn Davis. Thank you to everyone joining us around the world. Wherever you are, we really do appreciate it. And as you watch, remember to send in your questions and comments so we can put them to our guests. Now, and like how we have your attention, just do the same favor that we always ask. Share this video with as many people as you know so we can have a nice, lively discussion. Now, as you can see, it's the festive season.
Ooh.
The time for fun, friends, family, and if you're like me, food.
Mm-hmm.
At this time of the year, with Christmas just a few days away, people are out and about getting their shopping done and, of course, taking advantage of all the fun Christmas activities being put on. With that in mind, it's important to be safe. And so today's show, we will be running down some tips for members of the public to stay safe while they're out and about doing their shopping and having fun and having fun with their friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
To share those tips with us, we have members of the JIS Radio / Studio 58A team. We have with us Miss Twyla Whelan.
Hello.
And Miss Vanessa Silvera. And now we'll be talking about things like tips to stay safe on the road from the police.
Yes, ATM safety, hazards at Christmas, shopping tips.
Etc., etc., etc. But like how Twyla has kicked us off, let's start with you, Twyla. What are you sharing with the people today?
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Studio 58A. I'm Twyla Whelan, and I'd like to talk to you about, we're having a conversation about safety tips, and I want to start with the children because a big part of Christmas is gift giving, and we give our children lots of toys and things this Christmas. So let's start with buying the toys. So before buying a toy or allowing your child to play with a toy that has been received as a gift, you have to read the instructions carefully. So it's important to note that toys generally come with a age requirement to say, for example, 0 to 2 years can play with this toy, for example. Well, not 0, but you get the gist. There's always an age restriction, so be mindful of the age restriction when buying your toys. You do not want to get a toy for a 2-year-old that is meant for a 12-year-old, and there are moving parts that can harm the younger child. So yeah, you have to ensure that the toy is appropriate then for your child, and for the child that you're gifting it to, because it may not be your child, but you always have to bear in mind that the age of X child, I get a toy that's appropriate for them. You should also, remember that Christmas is a time when you have these lights and beautiful ornaments and decorations, and they pose hazards. They can be dangerous for children. So always remember to ensure that your children are kept away from these sharp objects. You have to remember to baby-proof the home during Christmas. So yes, they're pretty, but don't get anything too sharp. So you may have some spiky ornaments that the baby may see and hurt themselves with it, or want to put it in their mouth and so on. Small parts, as I mentioned earlier with toys, small children can choke on small parts of toys. So also be mindful of that when you're giving them to your child. Children under age 8 can choke or suffocate on uninflated or broken balloons. Remove strings and ribbons from toys before giving them to young children. And also watch for pull toys with strings, even like yo-yos and so on, that are more than 12 inches in length. They could be a strangulation hazard for babies. So anything that has too many long strings or so, you may want to stay away from those. So that's just a start with children.
All right, Vanessa, we're going to hop over to you. What are some of the tips you have to share with the public right about now?
Well, let's continue on the children.
All right, cool.
Thread.
Parents, everybody. Christmas is about children for the most part, so it's very important to focus on them.
It's wonderful that they're home and they get to participate in all the activities to prepare, Vaughn. But children under 12 really shouldn't be in the kitchen. You don't want to be spending Christmas Day in the emergency room when your child tips over the pot, because we all know children are inquisitive. They're curious. They're going to want to see what's baking, what's cooking, and so they're going to want to tip, and them can't reach. A lot of them can't reach. So you know what's going to happen. They're going to tip up, and the pot might tip over. They might get burnt. They can be harmed in so many ways. So you know that children are supposed to stay far, far, far from the kitchen. They knife them, they whole of something them that can harm the babies. Keep them away from the kitchen. Yeah. So.
Before I forget, it's also important to note that there are certain toys that have electrical parts.
Right.
As mentioned, getting burnt by the pot and so. Electrical parts can shock your child, so you want to teach them how to use it properly.
Right. And don't send them to plug in the pepper lights. Don't send them to plug in the Christmas lights.
Yeah.
It can shock them, especially if it's not wired properly.
Exactly.
Especially if you're using faulty lights from the year before. You want to save a couple bucks. Lights are $250 thereabout. So
they're replaceable.
They're replaceable. You don't want to electrocute your child, right?
Because
or burn down your house
because you're trying to save $1 here.
$1.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of plugging,
Well, people, as you can see,
battery-operated toys.
As you can see, we've been covering this information for years upon years upon years. So we are well acquainted with all these tips, and it was only right for us to just share them with you this Christmas to make sure you have a safe, happy, and Merry Christmas. Especially you live to have a next one next year. Right?
Yes.
All right, so on the topic of safety itself, road safety, we're all out and about shopping with our money in our hands, that kind of thing, and going from place to place, that kind of thing. It's important to be personally safe. That's your physical person.
Yeah.
Now, Twyla, share some tips for persons who are going to the machine, who might be wanting to draw cash, that kind of thing. It's preferred if you can use debit or credit cards to minimize the amount of cash you walk with on your person.
Yes, please.
But if you do have to get cash, there are some things you need to keep in mind.
Yes. And I want to start off with timing. Be careful of the time that you decide to go to the ATM. Choose that at one. Avoid going to the ATM at nights. Let's put that out there. Let's start with that.
Let's just establish that
Let's establish that. I would recommend avoid going to the ATM when it's too dark, and especially if the ATM is in an area that is poorly lit.
Right.
Or it's hidden around a corner, so you could be targeted by somebody if they see you going around that corner because they say, okay, that's like a dead end. They can easily attack you there. So you have to be very careful of the timing that you go to the ATM. I'd also recommend, not as Vaughn said before, not carrying around large sums of. So if you're going to the ATM and let's just say you want to draw $50,000, don't get it all at once, because therefore you'd be walking around with a large sum of cash from the ATM in that one go, and you want to avoid that. Also, when you're at the ATM, observe your surroundings. It is crucial that you are aware of what is going on. Did this vehicle just appear out of nowhere? Was this person following me before? Does this person look suspicious? Always be aware of the people that you are around or the people that are around you. When you do go into the ATM, ensure that you lock the door behind you, because that's one barrier there that somebody would have to get through to get to you. You can also actually search and jiggle the machine to ensure that it's okay. When I say search and jiggle, let me explain. Now, the keypad that you actually punch in your pin, pin number, no, but pin, yes. When you punch in your pin, there's an area right above it. You can actually use your hand to scope to feel if you may find any micro cameras, just in case somebody may be trying to spy on your pin number. So later, if they should steal their card, we hope that doesn't happen. But if your card is stolen, they would actually already have your pin. Another thing to do is to actually jiggle the slot where the card holder is. We had, some weeks back, we had someone here from Simtai Consulting Limited, and they shared that tip. I found it quite interesting, where the slot that your card goes into, you can jiggle it to see if it is removable, because then that would be something that they could use to hold on and clamp your card and take your card from you. Other ATM tips, always be mindful, as I said before, of the persons around you. If you're using an ATM that is not in an enclosed space, for example, I went earlier to an ATM and it was in a mini mart, like a convenience store. It was in a convenience store, and so that means there's no actual door you can shut, so people are lining up behind you. Always be protective of your PIN number, your PIN. Always be protective of it and ensure that nobody can look over your shoulder to see what you're putting in.
Right. Now, one of the as you're talking about shopping, before I even go there are some tips that we typically get from the Consumer Affairs Commission that we'll run down in a little while from now. But Vanessa, I want to just hop skip over to you and let you just follow up on what Twyla has to say.
Right. She mentioned being aware of your surroundings. Do not be afraid to look weird and don't be all self-conscious. If you feel like somebody's following you, turn around, look them dead in the face, just to make sure that they're not following you. If you need to step aside so that they can walk past, no problem. If you need to cross the road, it's for your safety. Cross the road. And don't be up in your feelings. because
Exactly.
it could harm you.
It could be the difference between life and
Life
death.
and death.
If you have that feeling inside, if your gut tells you
Right.
that this just don't feel right, this person just appeared out of nowhere and is following you all of a sudden.
Follow your gut.
Trust your gut. Trust your
feelings.
instincts.
Yes.
Take precaution for your own safety.
Yeah, that's so
Absolutely. And before we segue into road safety, I just want to point out that the criminals are out there and they're doing their thing, just like you working hard to get that money on Christmas. So are they.
Right.
And so a lot of the times we drive with our windows down.
Oh, yes.
The Christmas air feel nice.
It feels real
It
nice.
feel-
on
it
your
feels
skin,
nice.
yeah?
But just be mindful, especially when you have children in the car, especially when you've just come from a big shopping experience. People can dip their hands into your car. You're talking. Why are we still talking on the phone with our windows down? People, I've seen it enough to know that when my phone rings, well, don't keep your phones on the front seat, first of all, right? And when your phone rings, be sure to wind up the window. Wind up the window so that when you get onto that phone, somebody isn't reaching in through the window to snatch it. And
And in the first
Yeah.
instance, there shouldn't be any talking while driving on the phone unless it's hands-free. Let's remember that. So,
all the hands-free thing as well. You know, we have little areas where we put our phones. So you have the little stands. They can reach in and grab that
it.
too.
Yes.
So just be sure it's not too close to the window. And windows up. It might be a little warm, but windows up.
You know, and as you mentioned that, Vanessa, even for pedestrians, and I have seen this countless times, and it's not just a matter of thieves, but it's road safety in general. The walking and the talking on the phone,
Yeah.
it is truly dangerous. I've actually seen an accident happen right in front of my eyes where the young lady was crossing the road. She was on the phone. The driver was coming to turn onto the road and right into her. And he was trying to break up. So if he didn't break up, she would have gotten hurt. Walking and talking, your body actually cannot multitask. So you are going to be distracted and you're going to get hurt. So please avoid talking on the phone.
Let me just take this
while
time right
walking.
about now to just big up those who are watching online with us. Big up Dante Matthews, Ned Burntaff, Cislin Matheson especially. This is Cislin saying, good morning, how's everyone doing?
Morning,
I just
Cislin.
see your little thing on Facebook, Hollywood Next. So she's loving the programming. Really,
Oh, great.
really
Thanks.
appreciate
Thank
that,
you.
Cislin. Really appreciate
Yeah.
that. And Ian Pearson as well. Now, we always get tips at this time of year from the Consumer Affairs Commission, and because they are the agency tasked with ensuring that we get our money's worth when we get out there and we spend our money. At a time like this, one of the tips that I see, one from Dulcie Allen, who is the CEO of the Consumer Affairs Commission at the moment. Let me just make sure that is correct.
Dulcie.
Dulcie Allen.
Dulcie
Allen,
CEO.
CEO. In an article that we publish on our website, jis.gov.jm, shameless
Shameless
plug.
plug. Visit our website.
But one of the articles, one of the tips that she says that this time of year, unfortunately, a lot of manufacturers, a lot of stores, they bring out old merchandise. They try to capitalize on the fact that everybody's out there spending their money, that kind of thing. Yeah. You might get your hands on some old, faulty merchandise. So it's very important that you read through whatever warranty or whatever terms or anything that they provide to you on your receipt, anything like that. So that in case something happens with your product, you can bring it back, get your money back, or get some other product in return, get some kind of recourse. Because this is the kind of thing that happens at this time of the year. Everybody's trying to sell out everything that was in the warehouse for the last 12 months, 6 months. It doesn't matter. We don't know how long it's been in the warehouse. So we don't know what could have happened to it. So therefore, it's very, very important that you are aware of what you're buying, what you're getting, how you're able to return it if necessary, and if so, what kind of recourse you have. That kind of thing, all right? And she also, one of the things that the CAC also always reminds us to do is that don't necessarily be so quick to grab a discount.
Yeah.
The deals are out there now, especially.
Deals are out there
Deals.
now, but you could just be paying less because the product is worth much less.
Yes.
And that
You know
brings
what
us
I'm
to the
saying?
point of ensuring that you check your goods. Check your goods
Right.
carefully.
Right. And no matter how shiny they look, because, you know, when store owners bring out the stuff from yesteryear, they shine it up, make everything look nice and thing. And then you realize that you have something that's 2-3 years old. You don't want that.
And it doesn't last.
Also, when you're shopping, I am very particular about where I shop. And so if I walk into a store and I see a no refund, no exchange policy, then you're not
That's
getting
a red
my money.
flag.
You're not getting my money.
That's a humongous red
That's
flag.
a red flag right there.
Make sure there is some recourse. If consumer protection, the CAC calls it,
Right.
be sure that you can get either your money back or something else of equal value, because faulty stuff out there.
All right, Vanessa, Tanya Lawrence is bigging you up. Just give her
Hi,
a shout out.
Tanya. So
right.
that means we have listeners in Grenada.
That's even
All
better.
right.
We already knew we're international. So.
That's right. Big up Grenada.
All right. Another tip from the CAC, coming straight from the CAC, is that it's very important that you are aware of the terms and conditions of any special promotion or any special gift
Conditions apply.
because a lot
Right.
of the times
Condition.
Right.
Fine print.
You might have some introductory or Christmas sale or Christmas promotions that promise you this, and then when you go in with your money in hand, you might find that after it may have only been for you might get a discount for the first 2 months. The discount you thought was continuous was only for the first 2 months or the first week or something like that. So you have to be very careful of what kind of contract or transactional situation you're getting involved in, so you are fully aware
Before you reach the cashier.
before you put
Before
your
you
finger-
spend your
Give
money.
you
before
money.
you sign on the dotted line,
Right.
be aware of what you're signing. If you don't understand, ask questions. What this mean? So how much this mean me I go pay? So how much me I go pay over the long term? How much is work out to? How much a month? How much a week? Know the fine details. Be prepared to look weird. Ask those
As Vanessa
Yes.
says.
ask those
Yes.
fine
Yes.
detailed questions, because it could be the difference between you having to make a big payout or actually saving some money or just realizing that this is just not worth your while.
Exactly.
And as Vaughn mentions that we must be careful, because Christmas is a time when, persons may want to take out a loan to get gifts and to put up decorations. Be careful of the institutions that you're borrowing your money from.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with taking out a loan to get gifts
Exactly.
and so on.
Definitely,
But you
definitely.
must be careful, because you'll have some deals that sound incredible. And remember what they say, if it sounds too good to be true, the chances are it is
Chances
not
are.
true. Read the fine print. Look at the conditions. How much percentage is this interest rate again?
And if you're not very good at the math, go with somebody who can help you work it out, because you might end up repaying 3 times, 4 times, 10
Exactly.
times the amount.
Who knows? You could be spending an arm and a leg to pay back something you thought you only going to get for like $2.
And you might have to take a loan to pay back that loan, and you
Correct.
really don't want that.
Exactly. There's
So
nothing
be-
wrong
be
with
very
taking a
careful.
loan, but just have your eyes wide open as to what
Right.
you're getting yourself into.
And
It's very
who you're
important.
getting it from.
And because we all know it's that time of the year, advertisements are very, very persuasive. They're very
And persistent.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, and unfortunately, a person might find himself in a little spot or a little situation, might feel so swayed to go and take one up. Like we said, there's nothing wrong with a loan. Just be aware of what you're getting. And this is a good part to segue now into something that all of us are doing, or all of us should be familiar with this at this point, is online shopping. Now, of course, it's the latest rage. Everybody shops online nowadays. It's just easy to get the things you want and have them delivered to you and so on. But you have to be very careful when you're about to do things like that. The CAC, let me just read what from an article from the CAC, which says that, speaking at a JIS think tank yesterday, JIS, we are everywhere, of course.
Yes.
Information Technology Manager at the CAC, Andrew Evelyn, pointed out that the agency does not have the legal power to pursue merchants who reside overseas.
Hear that?
So what does that mean?
Once that money is gone, it's gone forever.
Exactly.
Gone.
Do your due diligence. Check reviews. Find out do as much research as you can on the product.
Yeah.
Find out persons who may have bought it, persons who may have bought from this
from
online
the website.
store or
Right.
this online platform. Check and
And
see how many persons are satisfied.
You
that kind of
mentioned
thing.
you mentioned reviews and the customer satisfaction. That is so important. If you don't check far enough, you'll see up the top, oh, great product, great this, right
That's so
on
crucial.
time. But if you continue to read and
Right.
look for the
True reviews.
Right.
the
Mhm.
true
Right, right.
reviews, you'll be able to tell whether or not this is was an actual worthwhile
Right.
purchase.
Right.
So read the reviews. People are usually honest, especially when they're disgruntled.
Exactly.
And a little bit outside of just, the actual product is the website. Be
Yes.
careful of the website.
Right.
As Vaughn said before, ensure that the website is highly recommended. Ensure that it says HTTPS
Right.
at the beginning, at the top of where the URL is. Ensure that it is there. That may indicate that the website is secure. And there's normally a lock, like the symbol for a lock, to show that the website is safe.
It's secure.
Because there's also the possibility of viruses and online attacks and persons that may be trying to steal your information.
And they might use your computer or your phone to mine Bitcoin, which kills your battery and kills your system. So you might want to be safe and be vigilant.
And also be careful of these advertisements that you see online. Don't go clicking on these ads.
Right.
You may download
People
a virus.
still clicking.
Yeah, man. People are clicking.
Don't click.
Because these ads are evolving. Cyber criminals
They
are
are.
always finding new
They
ways of
are.
attacking.
And
so
they
you
look
must be careful.
legitimate. It's true. It's true.
All right, sending a shout out to Floyd Harris, who's bigging up Vanessa and all of us. So thank you,
Floyd,
Floyd.
Thank
Really
you,
appreciate
family.
it. Really
Hey.
appreciate it. Is there anything we've missed or overlooked just yet? Anything we want
In terms of our tips, well,
Right.
there are other things we can get into.
Sure, let's
We
let's
can.
pivot. Let's go there.
Okay, so I'm just going to go off what I have here. Traveling in groups and refraining from wearing excessive jewelry, especially
Definitely.
gold, while traversing public spaces.
Especially when you're going in the major shopping areas.
Yes.
Downtown
Where it's
Kingston,
crowded.
downtown Montego Bay.
Halfway tree.
Halfway tree. The capitals where
New
the fuck-
Kingston.
Those major
Especially
towns, those
because
Savannah Lamar.
they can just grab and run into the crowd and you never see them again.
Be very, very careful.
What seems to be a new trend is, the bike thieves, persons who ride up on bike, grab your hand, grab your bags, grab your purses, grab everything off you and are gone in a flash. So
Right.
the less of a target you make yourself, the less things you wear. I mean, it shouldn't be this way, but
It shouldn't
unfortunately,
be.
this is the time we
It's,
live in.
it's an imperfect world.
Right.
Actually, before this broadcast, I was going across the road and I left my phone. I was crossing the road because somebody was across the road to me. I left everything because the bike men drive up or ride up, grab and go, and you never see them again. Even if it's outside you're going.
You have
Just
to
be
be very
careful.
careful.
Be careful.
Yes.
Yeah, let me just pivot another tip, which is a little bit off the beaten path, but I mean something that we should also be aware of. Coming again from the CAC is to be careful to avoid food poisoning during the Yuletide season.
Yes.
Now, consumers need to ensure that the places that they are purchasing food, they are adhering to the food safety regulations. I mean, at Christmas time, a lot of the time, like we said, a lot of persons are out and about and on the road. A lot of places experience increased volumes in customers.
Yes.
And that unfortunately may mean that some...
Compromise in quality.
Right. So they take up, they might not necessarily stick to the strong safety, health, and other regulations that they should because they're trying to meet the demands of the customers and that kind of thing. And so you have to just be a little careful about that.
Don't be afraid to return pink meat.
Oh, yes.
When you bite into it and it's pink, return it.
Please.
Right.
Please.
Let me just give you a clip from who was the speaker in this article, communication specialist at the CAC. She says that consumers need to ensure that the places they are purchasing food from are adhering to the food safety regulations, whether it's from the market, supermarket, or meat shop. Persons must ensure that they separate raw from cooked food to avoid contamination that can lead to food poisoning and hospitalization. Make sure that the food is clean when you are preparing it and have a separate cutting board for meats and vegetables. You also need to constantly wash your hands while cooking. These are some general things that we should be adhering
all
to.
observe.
But because of we know that there's increased cooking, there's increased eating, there's increased festivities, and so we just need to take those kind of precautions.
We should also practice that at home.
Right.
Because you don't want everybody to come to your Christmas spread and then they have to go to
And
the
then-
doctor the next
Next
day.
day. Exactly.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that we're also knee deep into the flu season, so
Oh,
it's very
yes.
important
We
for us
are.
to. It's very important for us to
yes.
practice good hygiene.
Hygiene.
Yes.
Please wash your hands. And if you are sick and you know you have to go out and interact with persons, whether by working or by virtue of simply just, going on, it would be best if you minimize your contact
Right.
with. So take the day. You have sick days. Take your sick days. Don't be afraid to, because the flu is highly contagious. It's easy. It's easy to get. And it's easy to spread. So be very, very careful in your interactions with persons.
Here's another tip from Ms. Campbell. Apportion your foods before storing them so that when you reheat the food, you don't reheat the entire amount and then put it back into the refrigerator. That you can avoid the spread of bacteria and that kind of thing when you do that. And if you have food out for more than 2 hours, especially if you add sauces or condiments, it tends to spoil a lot quicker. So you have to be careful of that as well. So just be careful how you store your food, which is just as important.
I was going to pick up, I learned from my little one at home that this is called a cough pocket. So when you cough, if you have
put it in the
flu,
cough pocket.
you cough into your cough.
Yes, because your hands go everywhere.
Right.
Your
so
cough
don't go
pocket
at you and then you okay, pass me
right
the
here.
salad, pass me the this. You cough in your cough pocket or you sneeze in your I'm not sure if it's called, could it be called a sneeze pocket?
Cough and sneeze pocket.
Yeah, but just, or in your clothes, somewhere where you're not going to be touching everything.
Because your hands spread everything.
Right.
All right, guys. So I think I want us to move in and share a little bit of what we like about Christmas. But before I do that, I want you just to, is there anything we've missed?
We
Anything we
missed?
could recap or just to go right back over some of the major points that we've talked about before?
Okay, I'd like to do a quick wrap and add one more thing about road safety, speeding. Yes, Christmas is here and it's a time when we're all rushing to get to places. Please do not speed on the roads. Please be careful on the roads with whatever it is you're doing. Do not drink and drive. There are a lot of parties now, a lot of festivities, office parties. Parties in the grill, for example. Be very, very careful. If you must drink, get somebody to drive for you. Go in a group, for example. Always be safe. Safety first. And just to recap, earlier we spoke about children and safety with children. Be careful of the toys that they get. Ensure that they don't interact too much with electrical things. They really shouldn't be interacting with them at all, just to prevent them getting burnt or shocked. We want to make sure that our children aren't playing in places that they shouldn't be at Christmas time, like the kitchen. Vanessa mentioned that before. They shouldn't really be in the kitchen if they're under 12 years old. We want to remember ATM tips. Be careful of going to the ATM what time you go. Do not carry large sums of cash around with you. Be careful of the persons in your surroundings in terms of if you feel you may be followed, if you feel somebody is too close to you. Don't be afraid to act weird, as Vanessa said. It is your safety. It is also your responsibility. Close the door behind you when you go into the ATM. If you are at an ATM that is not in an enclosed space, try to protect your PIN at all times. It's also important that when you're going out to do your business, try not to wear too much jewelry. Travel in groups, that helps a lot. Vanessa?
Just quick fire safety tips. Public Relations Officer of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, Emilio Banks, he says that incidentally, house fires increase, incidents of house fires increase around
Christmas time.
summer and at Christmas, especially at Christmas. That's because we're overloading our sockets. That's because we are mishandling equipment. That's because we're becoming careless. That's because we're going to put the roast or put the pot on fire and take a nap. Take a nap first and then come back and start the cooking. You can put everything for soaking in the meantime. Or, take it out and cover it so that the cat or other pet won't get to it. Men. I'm not sure if Vaughn should be the one saying this, but men, if there are faulty equipment at home, get an electrician, right? Don't attempt to fix it by yourself unless you have some kind of degree or qualification.
It's true, we see a camera person making faces. It's true.
It's true, Andre Sawyers. It
Plumber,
really is
for
true.
The pipes, electrician for the electrical things. It's true.
The
There's
people
nothing
are
wrong with
trained
that.
to do this, so allow them to do their work.
Yes.
Men especially. It's easier to spend a buck or two. $200 more, $1,000 more. Oh, you can get a set of smoke detectors, Emilio says, for less than $2,000. So your smoke detector, you can keep monitoring each room. If you know the smoke detector goes off, you know what that means. And in your kitchen, you need a heat detector. So if it gets too hot in the kitchen, so it's because kitchen fires don't always come with a lot of smoke, right? So you make sure the heat detectors in the kitchen and the smoke detectors are in the every other room of the house.
All right, and let me just follow up on that by saying that remember it's important to make sure that you get a receipt when you go out and do your shopping. Make sure you get a receipt. Make sure you fully understand and are aware of whatever warranty provisions that you might get from the store. Let them understand what their return policy is, their exchange policy, all of those details. You want to make sure that you get value for your money. So when you go in and you spend, and if you might buy something and you find that you don't want it or it doesn't work properly, you are able to return it. And if not, get back your money, get back something in return, get something that will make you satisfied. We all work hard for our money here. So we don't want to go out and buy something and then find out that it doesn't work and then we have no recourse. And again, remember, look out and be careful of these promotions that come out. Make sure you understand completely what you're getting yourself into. Understand what are the terms, what are the provisions, what exactly is required of you, how much money you must spend, how much money it work out to weekly, monthly, daily, however, so that you are fully aware, so that you don't find yourself feeling a little tricked or having what they call buyer's remorse.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You want to make sure that you spend your money, you get value for your money. And that's and these are the tips coming straight from the Consumer Affairs Commission. So, it's a good thing to get on their website, check out some of the tips. You can only do yourself some good by doing that. These things apply all year round, but especially at Christmas time when we are out and about shopping and doing all this thing with friends, family, and having fun. We just need to keep these things at the forefront of our mind because, as Vanessa said, the criminals are out there working just as hard to take advantage of us as we are working hard to take advantage of the holiday and the festive season.
Similarly, be careful again of online scams and shopping online. It's convenient, but the CAC doesn't have power to go all the way in Alaska.
And that's the thing about the internet. You literally have no idea where the person could be sending this information to you from.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it could be next door, it could be in Antarctica. You have no idea. So it's very important for you to just go into it with eyes wide open, understand, do as much research as you can to make sure you're getting what you spend your money for.
Special greetings to the team at the Consumer Affairs Commission, the CAC, Dorothy Campbell, Dulcie Allen. They have, and check their website because a lot of the times they have recall notices. They have tips on what not to get because of other consumer experiences. They tell you, don't buy this because this is being recalled. Don't buy that, or you can buy that because of X or Y. So it's a really good resource to have.
And their website is consumeraffairsjamaica.gov.jm. Once more, consumeraffairsjamaica.gov.jm.
And while you're at it, just make sure to swing on over to our website, JIS.gov.jm. We have stories there that give you a good rundown of tips from the CAC, from the police as well, from the fire safe, from the fire brigade, all those curated into one nice area so that you can understand the kind of things you need to keep in mind, especially at Christmas time.
Yes.
All right, guys?
Yes.
All right, so I think we can make a nice transition. Oh, we have a question online. I'm going to give this one to you, Twyla. It's from Melissa Green. She's asking,
hello, Melissa.
When shopping online, it is usually best to use trusted sites where you have recourse, like Amazon. But as we were doing that 58A with people from Simtai
Consulting Limited, yes.
He did mention that as much as Amazon and other ones are really tend to be safer, you should still be a little wary.
So the concept is nothing is foolproof. Our people from Simtai told us that. So as much as a site may be trusted or used a lot, things can go wrong. And Murphy's Law, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So you just want to be careful at all times with your purchases. And Amazon is reputable at the end of the day, for the most part, but always keep in the back of your mind that anything could go wrong.
We need to remember also that Amazon and eBay aren't always the merchants selling the products. They host people who sell their wares. So it might not be coming from Amazon, the store. It might be coming from a third party through Amazon. So people can sell you shoddy goods through Amazon.
And just to keep in mind also that, as Twyla said, nothing is foolproof. It may very well be that Amazon has experienced data breaches, security breaches, and so on.
That's another thing, zero-day attacks.
We just won't hear about it because they spend the time, energy, and effort to kind of keep things in-house and keep the reputation of their site going strong. So that, as much as they are reputable,
things can go wrong.
Doesn't automatically equate to safe, secure, trustworthy, etc.
How could we forget cyber safety don't post too much things online. Don't post everything online.
Very
don't
critical.
post your location.
Your location.
Online.
No, this
don't
is serious.
tell the thieves that you've all gone out to the beach, or or you've just landed and everything is at home.
No, this is very, very serious. Because a lot of the times you give yourself away.
Right.
Yes.
You give yourself away with so many things, and you have to be very, very careful of what you post at this time.
Yes.
There's a little thing on Instagram where you actually can pin your location. People can find you.
People can find
GPS
you.
is a hell of a thing. So you have to be very, very careful.
Don't post that brand new TV you got for Christmas, or the car that you've been waiting for forever that your wife got you for Christmas. Don't post it up there.
Even if you feel that you have a secure, a private account, be careful. Because if, for example, Vanessa has a private account and I cannot get in, what if somebody that can get in, like Vaughn, shows me and I have a bad intent for Vanessa?
Right.
Then anything is possible.
And
so think about it.
People can get to your account through other people.
Right.
People can get to your location through other people.
So be careful of how much you share.
Right, so be careful. Be aware of what you're posting about yourself and your family and your loved ones, because I mean, it might just be that you and your cousin are somewhere, and the person who's looking for your cousin finds them on your website, on your Instagram page, your Facebook page, that kind of thing. We just need to be a little more aware of the information that we share. I mean, it feels innocuous. It feels like, oh, it's just my friends and my family looking at my pictures, but actually,
the arm of flesh will fail you.
Okay.
You dare not trust your own.
The cybersecurity thread is really long, but I just want to slide in with the emails, because I know a lot of us subscribe to different websites, and so you'll be getting a lot of emails at this time of year telling you, hey, we have all kind of Christmas deals. Those could actually contain phishing scams. They could contain all kinds of things, so just to get you to click. It's one click, you know?
Just is one click.
And your computer could be compromised. So be very careful.
All right, guys, I think we've given them a lot of food for thought from this episode. We've been talking for quite some time. I just want to make us, hopefully we can transition now and just talk. Let's just share what we love about Christmas, what we find what we enjoy most about the season, and we can go out on that.
Start with you, Vanessa.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna do that.
Yes, we are.
All right, fine. I like I love the weather. It's nice, it's cool. You can sleep with your window open a bit if you live in a nice area where the breeze is coming in. I also love being with family, because everybody comes down, everybody comes from to or from rural areas to spend time together, and they bake up and they cook up, and the food.
That's the food, man.
The food is amazing. So the weather is nice. Spending time with family is priceless, because a lot of the times those family members don't make it to the next Christmas for whatever reason. And so every time you get to spend with your family members, treasure it, savor it like the food that you're eating. Yes. Oh, and of course the food.
Of course, the food. Well, for me, I must say my favorite part actually mirrors Vanessa's favorite part, which is going down, because as she mentioned, people come down. I'm one of those persons that go down for Christmas, because
go down where?
Go down to Westmoreland. My family.
Like you were just talking
go
about
down where?
all that information.
Right.
We know the parish, but let's just leave it.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly where.
Yeah.
But yes, Westmoreland is the most beautiful, amazing parish. Just want to put that out there. We thrive.
No bias.
Yes, I go home for Christmas to see my wonderful family, and of course the food. And I'm responsible for the Christmas cooking this year. Food safety will be of top priority.
Right.
So yes, I look forward to family and food for Christmas.
As for me, I really enjoy, of course, the food. I mean, who doesn't enjoy it? The food is the best part. The food is the best part. Cake, cereal, chicken.
Let's not do that to our viewers. It'll make them hungry.
All right. But anyway, apart from that, I mean, of course, love spending time with friends and family, getting to link up and have extended time with each other, because we have the time now. Get to link up and find out what they've been doing over the year, what we've been doing, share ideas, and just really get together and have that warm family time. I personally like the pepper lights. I mean, it's been we know that the pepper lights have been on the decline lately, but more and more lately I've been seeing some more coming up, and that makes me happy. Those are pepper lights are one of the more positive associations I have with my childhood when at Christmas time. So seeing all the pepper lights, the place look colorful and nice and bright. It's just the country just looks a whole lot different at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And people tend to treat you better.
Yeah,
nicer.
everybody's happier.
Everybody
and
is
nicer.
nicer.
It's a
Everybody
bit more
says
pleasant.
hello.
Yeah.
You know, the pleasantries at
Yeah,
Christmas.
It's true. You can feel when Christmas is here. You can
Yes.
actually feel it.
Which brings me to my next point. I mean, it is the season for giving. And so if you have the chance, it's always good to find somebody who may be less fortunate, somebody who might be in need of help, and lend them a hand. I mean, it could just be a meal. It could just be a card. It could be an encouraging word to a shut-in, somebody who might not be able to go out and have a good Christmas with their family.
Yeah,
You know, so
definitely
a person
the
whose
food.
family, right?
Yeah, man, share your food.
Share the
Share your
food.
food. No, this is serious.
Definitely
Share
share
your
the
food.
food.
Share. Because
Especially
Yes,
because
I'll
you
be
know
sharing my
that
food with you.
it going to leave over anyway because I make too much. Share the food.
Yeah, it's real, and that way, that's the real spirit of
Right.
giving.
That is the real spirit of giving for the season. It's important that we come together, not just as friends and family and those who really love and care about. Spare a thought for those of us who might not have that luxury of a friend or a family or somebody who they can call and to share the Christmas time with. It would be good if we can just find such a person and, say Merry Christmas.
The blind man
Here's
up
a
the
meal.
road, the deaf lady
You know
around
what I
the
mean?
corner, the
Right.
old lady who can't cook for herself.
Right.
Or,
You know,
or how
Right.
about
Right.
that very grumpy neighbor? You know? Yeah.
So the
I
grumpy
would say-
neighbor going
no,
want to eat from
not
you.
necessarily a food, but the encouraging word. Maybe this is the
Or
time.
like a smile.
Right.
Like a smile. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't always have to be something really
It
big.
doesn't cost you anything to say Merry Christmas.
It
have a-
doesn't.
And a prosperous New Year. It really doesn't cost you anything.
Or happy holidays.
You know
Yes,
what I mean?
happy holidays.
Felices fiestas.
Yes.
All right, guys, I think that should be as much as we want to share with the members of the public. We don't seem to be having any more questions online. So I guess it's just for me to say thank you, everyone who joined us. We really did appreciate all those persons who checked in with us, sent in questions, sent in comments, and just helping us to sensitize the public about what's happening. It's something happening over.
Yes, something is happening over
you
here.
quite finished with your
Are you
outro?
finished with your outro?
Let me just, I'll turn it over to you in a minute. Okay, so guys, if you sent in a question and we didn't get to answer, not to worry. We tend to go through and we'd like to provide information that you might need. So it's as simple as that. Don't just, because after the video ends, you don't have to stop sending in your questions and your comments. Just talk to us. We'll be able to get you the information you need. We are the Jamaica Information Service after all. Remember, the audience plays a major part in our show. So if there's anyone you want to have in studio, just drop us a line, let us know, and we'll try our best to have that person in studio as soon as possible. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Jamaica Information Service. You'll find all the information there, and you'll be able to see who will be in studio next. We do this every Thursday live on Facebook. I've been your host, Vaughn Davis, and this has been Studio 58A Live. Thank you again for joining us, and have a wonderful day.
And
Now I
from the
turn over-
JIS Radio Department to
We
you.
wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.